After 40 years together, we've learned the hardest part of making big life decisions isn't the decision itself, it's the fear underneath it. The fear of blame, the fear of guilt, the fear of being wrong, or the fear of regret. Hi, I'm Jo. Welcome back to Rock Till We Drop. Over the years, we've made some massive decisions, like I'm sure everybody has in their lifetime, moving countries, changing lifestyles, taking risky trips, and saying yes to things most people our age wouldn't even consider. And we've done it using a simple method that keeps us connected, calm, and on the same team. This video is for anyone who wants to move forward without fear, guilt, or blame. And it's the same method that took us to Australia for 3 years in a 12-foot caravan. It's the same method that put us on the wrong side of the road in Greece with no plan. And it's the same method that keeps us dreaming, scheming, and saying yes to adventures that make other people raise their eyebrows. And by the way, even if you don't have a partner, this video is for you. These tools work beautifully on your own too. You can write down your own thoughts, talk them out loud, or mentally tick them off. Courage isn't a couple's activity, it's a human one. When thinking about this video, I didn't even realise that we even had ideas in particular or a system about making decisions. It's actually been an interesting thing to put these ideas on paper and realise that we do have some sort of system to work things out. You just take it for granted and don't even think about it. So today I'm sharing my tips with you to just give you a bit of an insight into the way we do things. I'm sure you do things differently too, and I'd love to hear from you. Okay, tip number 1, the agreement or no blame rule. This is the foundation of everything. If we both agree on the decision, we both agree on the consequences. So what does that actually mean? It means there's no blame, no guilt, no I told you so, or no resentment. We want to keep moving forward in our relationship. For example, we bought our first motorhome. We said, if this goes wrong, we both own it. Suddenly, the decision wasn't so scary after all, because neither of us could be wrong. We were a team. It turns every decision into a partnership instead of a risk. It means if the decision goes sideways, we don't turn on each other. We turn towards each other. If you're making decisions alone, this can become a pact with yourself. No beating yourself up. No replaying the decision. No, I should have known better. It's just learning, adjusting, and moving forward. Tip number 2, the courage question. This is the second tool we use. What's the worst that could happen? And can we handle it? When we were deciding whether to travel for months at a time, we had to think, what's the worst that could happen? Well, we just hate it. We don't like being away from home for so long. Can we handle that? Yes. We just come home. Easy. When we're deciding whether we wanted to rent out our house, what's the worst thing that could happen? We get a bad tenant. Can we handle it? Well, yes, we can deal with it and figure it out. This question removes the fear, the pressure, and overthinking. It turns big decisions into manageable ones. If you're on your own, ask yourself the same thing. What's the worst that could happen? Can I face it? Can I manage it? You'll be surprised how often the answer is yes. The next tip, dreaming and scheming. One of the biggest gifts this method has given us is the freedom to dream and scheme without fear. Because there's no judgment, no blame, no shutting ideas down too early. We can throw anything on the table, wild ideas, practical ideas, and the occasional ridiculous one, and just see what feels right. Some ideas become real. Some get tossed straight into the dumb ideas heap. But the magic is that we're allowed to imagine without fear. This is how we've had made some of our most risky choices. That's how it's happened, at least risky in other people's eyes, because we've had to go through the process and think, what's the worst that could happen? Like at the time we uprooted our lives and moved to Australia. We lived in a 12-foot caravan for 3 years and travelled around. Most people thought we were mad. We were newly married. We had no idea what we were doing, and we were about to live in a space smaller than most people's wardrobes. And we survived to tell the story. But all the stars aligned. The condition we set happened, and off we went. It became one of the best beginnings and adventures to a marriage anyone could ask for. And that was 40 years ago. My next tip, tip number 4, the reality of courage. You know, even after decades of making bold decisions together, we still get nervous. Our recent trip to Greece was a perfect example. We spent most of our time when we go travelling in a motorhome with the motorhome exchanges, and it's our happy place. Everything's familiar, our own bed, our own food, our own rhythm, our own little home rolling along behind us. Suddenly, we're doing something completely different. We're driving on the wrong side of the road in Greece. We're staying in accommodation every night, having to make choices. We're eating out more often and having to figure out our finances and what we can afford. We're navigating towns without our own house behind us. We look with envy at other people with a motorhome, think, oh. And then we're doing it all with nothing more than a roadmap and a rough idea of which direction we were heading. And let's be honest, most people our age wouldn't even consider that. Plenty of people younger than us wouldn't consider it either. They'd want a detailed plan, a spreadsheet, a colour-coded itinerary, and a safety net. We had none of that, just courage, curiosity, and a willingness to see what might happen. And surprisingly, it all came together. We had a wonderful holiday, which included a 3-week road trip in Greece. Because when you remove the fear and the blame from the decision, you stay open. Your eyes are peeled for new ideas, new opportunities, and new ways to look forward. You're not rigid. You're not stressed. You're not trying to just get it right all the time. You're just having a shot and giving it a go and taking that first step. You're living. And that's the heart of Rock Till We Drop. We're not getting any younger, any of us, but especially us. And that's exactly why we keep saying, yes, let's give it a go. What have we got to lose? And honestly, the old saying, no, shoulda, coulda, woulda, has carried us through so many difficult situations and different moments where we've just had to keep moving forward instead of looking back and regret. But we still slip up sometimes and we have to remind each other. It reminds you that life is happening now, not in the rear view mirror. So my next tip, number 5, is my universe filter. Sometimes it's hard to make a decision and we just can't work it out. So we set a condition and let the universe decide. We've done this so many times, it's a habit now. For example, if the house sells, we'll move. If we find a home for the dog, we'll go. If someone wants to do a motorhome swap with us, we'll go and travel in their country. This makes it easier. If the condition happens, we take it as a sign. If it doesn't, we let it go because the stars weren't aligned. It removes that pressure. The decision isn't forced. It's allowed. Often when we try to force a decision, that's when things go pear-shaped. Solo viewers can do this too. Set a condition. Let life answer you. It's amazing how clarity arrives when you stop pushing too hard to make it happen. It will happen in good time and sometimes in a bit of a different way to what you were expecting. My tip number 6, the for and against list. And here, this is another tool that we use when we're really thinking hard and can't quite just make that quick decision. It's for those tricky decisions. We write down the fors and against. Piece of paper, for, against. We don't have to rush. We don't have to write down everything at once. We keep the list on the table. It's like a whiteboard. And we add to it whenever an idea comes. A thought pops up while you're making a cup of tea, add it. Something hits you while you're out walking, add it. A new worry, something you hadn't really thought about too much, add it. A new possibility, add it to the list. And then, when you've exhausted every idea you can dream of, you look at it. And often you just see it for what it is. You've got 3 things in the good list and 10 things in the not so good list. Everything becomes black and white and gives you perspective. It takes the emotion out of it. It shows you the decision clearly. Often, then, it's clear what you need to be doing. It works beautifully when you're making decisions as a couple or on your own. Actually, probably especially on your own because you can look at it for what it is. It's out of your head. And here's something else we've learned over the years. Sometimes one of us loses sight of the end goal. Sometimes one of us gets tired or overwhelmed or afraid. Sometimes one of us can't see the destination clearly anymore. We're not perfect. Life trundles along and swings and roundabouts. But when this happens, and it happens, the other one has to stay calm, keep walking. No dragging, no pushing, not panicking. Just calmly holding the direction until the other one finds their footing again. That's what partnership really is. Not 2 people being perfect at the same time, but taking turns at being steady. We want to keep that boat even. Too much on one side, we're going to tip out, and we don't want that. Because sometimes when the wheels wobble or fall off, it's usually because one of us has lost sight of the bigger picture. And that's the same on your own. We sometimes can lose sight of really where we want to be. That's when we step back, breathe, and remind ourselves, we're on the same side. We want the same destination. We want the wheels back on. A lot of couples give up at this exact moment, right when they're actually close to achieving their goals. But for us, it's never been about sweating the small stuff. It's about staying committed to the bigger picture of our life together. And why does this work? It works because it removes the fear, the guilt, and the blame, no resentment, But what does it build? Trust, partnership, courage, and adventure. Most people get stuck because they're afraid of being wrong. This method removes it. No wrong, and it replaces it with moving forward. So here's your framework. We need to agree on the decision, agree on the consequences. Ask, what's the worst that could happen? Write down your fors and against on a piece of paper or whiteboard, whatever. Set a condition and let the universe decide. Put it on the calendar. Take the first step. Whether you're doing this with a partner or on your own, this is how you can move forward without fear, guilt, or blame. If you're facing a big decision, tell me what condition you're setting. Sometimes the universe just needs you to take the first step, and the rest unfolds exactly the way it's meant to. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos. And speaking of which, my next video will be about how we've actually learned to think outside the box in our retirement years and how it's made an interesting life for us. So thanks for joining me today. Ciao for now.
Just enjoy life. We will never be this young again. Time moves fast, and every moment is precious. Cherish the little things, live with no regrets, and embrace every experience as it comes. Life is fleeting, so make the most of it. Love deeply, laugh often, and live fully.